What if everything that we've been taught about biblical womanhood was inaccurate?
Too loud, too much, too intense for them? Good. You weren't made for their mold. You were made in His image. Here, we go back to the Word. No fillers, no fluff. Join me as I unpack everything we thought we knew. I'm a little loud, a little bold, and a whole lot serious about stewarding this life well.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I have a hot cup of tea to spill and a lot of biblical questions. Being totally honest, that just sounded like a really fun hook, but I don't drink tea. This is decaf, but decaf is kind of like tea, right? It's just bean water tea. Regardless, I wanted to pop on here and introduce this series. It's going to be a 10-part series all about biblical womanhood. This series is for a couple of different people. If you have ever felt completely unseen or misunderstood by the modern day Christian church as a woman, that you were either too loud, too bold, too much, or that you had insights or opinions that you wanted to share but you didn't feel like it was your place, stick with me in this series. This one is for you. Also, anybody else that actually just wants to understand what the original blueprint and design was and what that looks like as we walk out our faith, how we got to where we are today, and some of the questions that have been weighing on my mind, the truth that I believe has been purposefully hidden from us, this is also for you. There will be some anecdotal sharings about the relationship between my husband and I, but the majority of this series is going to be focused on understanding what the Bible actually says about women and about how I think the modern day church has gotten it upside down and backwards and how we can take it back. And I'm quite aware, because this goes against all of the mainstream narrative, that it's likely not going to be super palatable by a lot of people. But if you saw my last video about the reintroduction to this channel, I have been called and convicted to stop being palatable and speak what I believe to be true and what I'm truly passionate about. And one of those things is absolutely understanding the foundational design between a man and a woman, and then a woman's place in society at large, in the called out assembly, in the church. If you hear some background noise, my apologies. I really tried to get up and film this before my kids were awake. But pro tip, if you're going to film, make sure that your microphone is on. Otherwise, you will spend 20 minutes of your life and have no audio for it. Let's dive into the premise. I have written this as a blog series because I do best thinking in written form. It helps me consolidate all my wild ramblings down to something a little bit more concise. But as a busy mom, I know most of the content that I consume is in audio or visual format, which is why I am going to be reading the blog posts and then posting them here as videos on the channel. That way, for any other busy folks out there, like most of you are, you have it in multiple different formats that you can reference. So if you like a written format or you want something that you can reference or share that way, I will link the blog posts for each one of these videos in the description box. But if you prefer it in video format, here we are. What is the type of media you mostly consume? I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you're on YouTube, it's probably video format. I don't know why, it just seems to make sense to me. Get straight into the blog, which is going to introduce the premise for this entire series. What if the church has gotten it wrong and so has the world? Let's get uncomfortable for a second. If you grew up in the church, you were probably taught that biblical womanhood meant submission, support, and silence. That leadership was for men, that teaching, preaching, or speaking boldly was somewhere between out of place and outright disobedience. If you walked away from the church or tried to find your voice inside of it, you may have found more resonance in the feminism's call to smash the patriarchy than yet another sermon on the Proverbs 31 wife. And honestly, I get it, because deep down, women know they weren't created to be second-class citizens. Now, I want to pause here for a second, because I do hear the other side that says, well, men and women are equal in value, just not equal in authority or in power. And it's really easy to say that you're an equal when you're the one in the authority who's superimposing that idea on to other women. And I know there are some women who just feel all in their femininity and feel in their place in that role. That's fine. I'm not saying we all have to be the same temperament, but what I am saying is if we zoom out and look at it from, say, a woman like me and my perspective, it feels like being a second-class citizen. I don't know how you can have more power and authority over somebody while being equally yoked. And the Bible is very clear that men and women are equally yoked. For my Gen Zers that might not totally understand that reference, because I'm a Gen Zer too, being equally yoked, you had two oxen, you had a yoke, and they're supposed to pull together in order to get a load, a plow, whatever it is, in motion. So if you have unequally yoked oxen, so you have one weak and one strong, you're not going to be able to pull properly. That's why men and women are supposed to be equally yoked. From my perspective, it does not feel like equality to say, well, men and women are different, but men have all of the power. I don't know. Well, there's power in submission, absolutely, but we're going to get into that in a later post. If feminism responded to the church's distortion of womanhood by rewriting the script entirely, I would argue that both sides missed the mark. One says women must follow, the other says women must lead, but what if it wasn't about power at all? The pendulum problem. Now, for some context, I have been saying this for years. One side drives the other side. It's the first time it's in written form, but if you know me, this is not something new. The modern conversation around womanhood often swings like a pendulum between two extremes. Patriarchy, women are made to serve, men lead by design, authority flows one way. And feminism, women have been held back by men and systems, and it's time to flip the order or burn it down. But I believe the truth lies somewhere else entirely. The Bible does not present a hierarchy of worth. It presents a blueprint of a mutual mission, not power over, but power with. Messiah didn't call women to disappear under the weight of tradition or to abandon his design in pursuit of self-empowerment. He called them to walk side by side in purpose and power as it was in the beginning. You might be thinking, doesn't the Bible say women can't teach or have authority over men? What about Ephesians 5 and wives submitting to their husbands? Didn't Jesus choose only male apostles for a reason? These are just some of the very real questions and what we're going to be tackling head on in this series. Not with empty slogans or surface level answers, but with biblical context, cultural clarity, and a deep hunger for truth over tradition. We're not here to swing the pendulum back. We're here to find the truth that I believe has been purposefully hidden from us. As we are in these latter days, and whether or not you believe we're towards the end of the world or not, we can at least agree that we're in the latter days than we've ever been in before. I believe that this is one of those foundational premises that has been purposefully hidden from us, that is being uncovered as God talks about his truth being uncovered in the latter days. Context behind that assumption we'll get into in a later one of these videos. Over the next 10-ish, I believe it is actually going to be 10. There'll probably be some bonus posts, videos as time goes on, but I'm almost done writing the blog portion of the series, and I think it will be down to 10. We will unpack the real meaning of helpmeet, what Paul was and wasn't saying about women being silent, the headship verses, women leaders in scripture, how the church and culture both lost the plot, and how we can get it back, and much more. The series is not about rebellion or appeasement. It's about restoring what was lost, reclaiming the truth that sets both men and women free to walk in their created purpose. We are breaking the chains, not the design. Ready to challenge everything you thought you knew? Good. Me too. Now, throughout this series, you will hear me use a lot of the Hebraic names, because for me, I like to get as close as I can understand it. So you will hear me refer to the Lord as Yahuwah, Jesus, Yahusha, Elohim as God. I will always try to clarify what those Hebrew words English equivalent is so that I don't lose you along the way. But personally, just because I know I respond to someone when they say, "Hi, Kingsley, what's up?" Even though my name is Kinsey. But my name is still Kinsey, so I'm trying to do the best that I can to honor the original names, but also give our current understanding of the names so that I don't lose you along the way as we work through this series. We're going to be diving deep into a lot of the cultural assumptions and the context of where we are today. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you are most excited for me to tackle, because I know there's going to be a lot of objections. I am well aware that this goes against both of the popular narratives, both church patriarchy and modern feminism. but I truly believe that this is where the truth lies. So if you're ready to dig deeper and find the truth with me, go ahead and leave a comment down below on the specific thing that you are most excited for me to unpack and tackle as we go into this Biblical Womanhood series. Until I see you again next Friday, may Yah bless and keep you, and may He make His light shine upon you. I will catch you on that flippity flop. See you the next time.